Peace. I just wanted to take a moment and just build a little bit about goals and the expectations that we have for ourselves. I speak to a lot of different people, and one of the main challenges that I see in regards to accomplishing our goals and reaching a certain place in our life that we say we want to go to is that a lot of times we become our own worst enemy. And what I mean by that is sometimes when I talk to people and they may be living at home with their parents still and they're saying that they want to get out on their own, they want to move, and then if I ask them, okay, when are you thinking about making that move, they just say something like, hopefully soon. It may be a person that's working in a job situation that they're not really satisfied with. They either want to get another job or go back to school or something, and I ask them, well, when are they thinking about making that transition? And they'll say something like, I'm working on it. You know, and one thing that's clear about those two examples is that it's not clear when it is that they want to make this move or when it is they want to make this actual transition. There's not a date, and usually if there's not a date, it's not strange that that day just never even comes. You know, so one thing that I strive to share with people is that you have to be clear about your goals. You got to be clear about where it is that you say you want to go and what it is that you say you want to do and when you want to have things accomplished by. If you're living at home and you're saying that you want to move and things like that, you have to be able to have a moving date. It doesn't matter if you've never even looked in the paper for different apartments. At least set a moving date, because now you've established some sense of expectations and you're motivated and you have a clear path from your objective to your goal, or from what's knowledge to what's born, your inception to what conception is. So that's very, very important to be clear about it. If you're saying that you want to have another job or that you want to go back to school, find out when you have to register for classes and when the first day of classes actually is, and set that as your goal. You know, if you want to have another job, be specific about it. Don't just say you're looking or you're hoping, or say by this date I want to be in a new job. And when you set those kind of expectations for yourself and you put yourself under that pressure to be motivated to accomplish that task, now you can see a clear direction that you're headed in. Like I said, if there's not a date, then it's no mystery that that day just usually never even comes. Another thing that I share with people is that you have to be reasonable about the goals that you set for yourself and the expectations you have for yourselves. For example, if you've never been in a recording studio before, you don't know the difference between, you know, a MPC 2000 and SB 1200, or you don't know any of that, then it would be unreasonable to sit there and tell somebody you're going to drop a full-length album in 2 weeks. It's not impossible, but it's definitely unreasonable. So be reasonable about the goals that you set for yourself too. You know, if you've never left home before, be reasonable about when it is that you say you want to make that transition to living out on your own. And like I said, if you don't set a day or a date, then it's not strange or a mystery that that day just usually never even comes. So another thing is, when you are setting these goals and expectations for yourself, sometimes you may have relationships with people, whether it's platonic, whether it's companionships, whether it's business, where your ability or inability to accomplish those goals may impact them. For example, you may be living with a roommate, or you may be sharing a space with your companion or whatever, and they're the ones taking care of everything. They have a job, they're paying the rent, they're paying the bills, and they're being understanding about you may have some troubles or some challenges with you being able to get a job and things like that, but those challenges don't translate into those bills being paid or that rent being paid. In other words, telling them that you're trying, you're working on it, you know, things are hard, even though they may understand that, that's still not translating into paying that rent or paying those bills, which means that's not enough. And if you're not clear with the people who you have a relationship with, whether it's a companionship or it's platonic, whether it's business, if you're not being proactive and being clear with letting them know what your expectations are and the goals that you set for yourself, you put yourself in a position where they're going to have to come to you and set your goals. And you don't want to put yourself in that kind of position, because you can't depend upon them being as reasonable or considerate or fair as you would necessarily be to yourself. And it's not about being trustworthy. It's just about, it's better for you to set your own goals and your own expectations in comparison for somebody to come into you. For example, if you're living with somebody, they may come to you one day and be like, you know what, I know you're trying to understand this, that, and the third, but it's hard. You know, things aren't getting taken care of, and you're going to have to find something by the end of this month. And I understand you're a vegan, but you may have to work at Burger King, you know, or if you don't find something, you're going to have to leave, or I'm going to leave. You know, so you don't want to put yourself in that position, because now you're dealing with their sense of being reasonable or fair, and they're setting your expectations, and now that can turn into a sword above your head, which you also don't want. So, again, if your decisions are impacting the lives of people that's around you, that you have a relationship with, it's important for you to be proactive and let them know the goals that you set for yourself, and be clear with them about the direction that you're headed in. Because now they don't have to come to you. You know, so it's better for you to step up and come to them and let them know what's going on, in comparison for them to come to you and let you know what you're going to need to do. Because, like I said, it could turn into a situation of a sword being placed above your head. So, to kind of recap, first and foremost, it's important to be clear about our goals, what it is we say we want to do, and where we want to be at, and what we want to accomplish. For example, if you want to start a business, and it's October right now, you're saying that you want to have your business up and going by November, say it's a cleaning business. Be reasonable about it. Tell yourself that by November 1st that you want to have 2 clients, you know, minimally. And that's good. That's something that you can set for yourself. It's not unreasonable, and it's obtainable. So now you're working towards that goal. You've set your objective. That's clear. And now you have an actual date of something that you want to accomplish. And the thing I wanted to say, too, is, say that November 1st rolls around and you only have 1 client, that's fine. At least you've accomplished some of that goal that you set for yourself. You know, and when you are setting goals for yourself and you are accomplished either the whole goal or part of the goal, you're building self-confidence, you're building self-esteem, you're creating more momentum for you to even carry further. But if you don't have a date, if you don't have anything that's a verifiable goal or something that you want to accomplish by a certain specific time, then you don't have that motivation. There's nothing driving you to meet a certain place or a point, because there is no place or point. It is what it is. And usually what happens, like I said, is if there's not a date or there's not a day, then usually that day just never even comes. So say that November 1st rolls around, you have 1 client. Don't beat yourself up about it. Be happy that you did at least accomplish some of the goal, and then set another date. You know, say that by November 15th, you want to have your 2nd client. You know, when you work in that type of direction, now you're following the process of taking things from knowledge to born. And if you don't have a clear sense of what your goal and what you want to accomplish is, taking things from knowledge to born becomes almost like you're wading through murky waters looking for fish, you know, and, you know, that is not the best approach to take when it comes to you wanting to be somewhere in your life, or you wanting to accomplish certain things. And, you know, ultimately, you know, with all of these different video bills that I put up, none of it's based upon belief. None of it's based upon whether you agree or not, disagree. It's not debatable. It's all about practical application. You know, apply some of the things that I'm saying, see the kind of results that you get. If you've applied and strive to do things another way, then consider some of the things that I'm saying and see if you get the results that you want to bring about in your life. You know, sometimes when I've spoken to people and I give them this kind of advice, I come back to them a year, 2 years later, and they're still in the same exact position that they've been in. So that tells me one or two things. Either they was never really about this to begin with, or they simply were not applying the practical steps that I share with them. Either way, it was a waste of their time and a waste of my time. And if you're dealing with people like that, it's going to be a waste of your time as well. So, like I said, all of these things that I share is not based upon belief, whether people agree or disagree or whatever. It's about practical application. You know, apply it and see if it works. You know, If you've applied other ways and it didn't work, strive to do this and see what kind of results you'll get. So with all of that said, I will that this was inspiring, it was educating, and it was empowering, and enjoy your day. And like I said, if you don't set a clear goal for yourself and you don't have a day of when you want to be able to accomplish certain things, then it's not strange or a mystery that that day just usually never even comes. Peace.